If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
So good morning everyone. My name is Rohit and have around 17 years of experience in SAP Finance and overall domain experience, and working on many SAP ECC R3 and SAP S4HANA projects, and play multiple roles in my career. And my expertise in basically like SAP S4HANA, greenfield, brownfield, and bluefield, and center finance, and all the areas in SAP S4HANA perspective. And it's my pleasure to provide you this training. So we are on learn the SAP S4HANA functionality. Thank you so much, guys. Today is our first session. Okay. uh, I just want to understand, if anyone you have any idea about what is SAP HANA. Okay. And in terms of what exactly your thoughts on SAP HANA perspective, can anybody just let me know? Not S4HANA. I'm just talking about SAP HANA. So there's a difference here, SAP HANA and S4HANA. So anyone can just let me know, if you have any idea about some thoughts on that. Raise your hands and I think just let me know. Anyone? So first of all, guys, we need to understand here what is SAP HANA, okay, and what is SAP S4HANA in terms of the basic concept, okay. So when we talk about SAP HANA, okay, SAP HANA launched on 2010 December, okay, and thereafter, when you talk about SAP S4HANA, okay, so SAP S4HANA come in picture, you can say, December 2014. So the first version of SAP Simple Finance is released in December 2014. That time SAP released the first version, we can say SAP Simple Finance 1.0 version. Okay. And then 2015 January, right? The next 1 month again, SAP released with the other version that stands for SAP Simple Finance 2.0. Now thereafter, SAP realized that, so thereafter the first officially, okay, the first officially version SAP released in terms of SAP HANA perspective, that stand for SAP Simple Finance 1503. Okay, 1503 is released on 2015 March. Okay, now if you see here 1503, so 15 stand for your year and 03 stand for your month. Okay, so this is the first version of officially which customer implemented that time. This is basically only for finance perspective. No other logistic modules are covered on this first edition. Okay, and only finance perspective, this edition was released at that time. Okay, now in this edition, and many customers implemented this SAP Simple Finance at that time. Okay, to get that like a good reports and good overall technologies in terms of SAP Simple Finance that time. Okay, but again the same year, if you see on the month of November, okay, SAP released with the addition like SAP S4HANA Enterprise 1511. Okay, so in 2015 we have released two versions, okay, 1503 and 1511. In 1511 stand for 15 is year and 11 stand for your overall month. Now in this edition, logistic modules are also captured. Okay, so now we have one complete package that stands for Enterprise Management S4HANA. Okay, now in this edition you have a finance and SAP finance and logistic modules, like you can say order to cash, procure to pay. Okay, and all of the modules are captured in this first edition and as an enterprise management. Now before we can go this release, we should be understand, guys, the terminology about about how SAP release this versions in each year. So we have a, guys, three types of deployment options. Okay, we have SAP on premises. Okay, and you can say SAP on premises, SAP on cloud, and SAP hybrid. When we talk about SAP on premises, okay, so it means every year one version is released in like since 2015 onwards. Okay, and this activity still continue till the, you can say, 2027. Okay, so when we say on premises deployment option, then we can go with the every year SAP release one addition version. And when you take about on cloud, SAP release like every quarter. So quarter is the cloud is basically on like you can say that two types of cloud versions. Okay, one is like private cloud and one is like public cloud. Do you have any idea about, guys, what is public cloud, what is private cloud? Anyone? Even, guys?
I think it has relation to the sharing part that whatever you are doing, it is the public
Mhm.
cloud is the one where it is allowed and shared for everyone or something like that. And
Okay.
private cloud is something for your own, just like your own personal space.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and you are right. You are like somehow right, but I can explain in the other way. Okay. So guys, when we say cloud, okay, cloud is like we have two options: private cloud and you can say public cloud. Private cloud is nothing is equal to on premises. The only but on private cloud we can say that the infra can be taken care by the third party. You can say AWS or Google, or you can take by yourself. Okay, within the organization is up is it's a choice here for a customer. Okay, for public cloud. So public cloud is basically is equal to your on premises. Now when you talk about public cloud, guys, you know that we have to pay some amount for services. So for example, Google Drive, right? We Google Drive is somehow free at some point, but I think once we get additional data, then we have to pay, and we can get URL. So any services, for example, I want to implement in my organization SAP accounts payable, take example. I don't want to implement any other module. I just want to go to SAP accounts payable. Okay, it means I just want that services from the public cloud. So public cloud is basically, you can say, the overall maintenance and infra will be taken care by the SAP. Okay, and we can get the services based on that, whatever we need as per my requirement. So that's the difference between private and public cloud. Okay, so private and so cloud version SAP release every quarter, and on premises SAP release every year. Okay, and on hybrid is a combination between, you can say, on premise or on cloud. But majority of the clients right now is moving to like on premises or on private cloud. Okay, and right now we have the other version is coming, last year, this time rise with SAP, right? So rise with the SAP is again, we have to, overall all the infra will be taken care by SAP. So whenever you implement rise with SAP, any customer, so it's a customer responsibility to, like take the ownership of that license with SAP directly. So basis activity in that sense is very less for our side. Okay, so that's so these are the deployment option, you should be know about once we talk about SAP HANA or S4 HANA perspective. Okay, so come to the point here. So when we say these three addition deployment option, so SAP release every year that, versions. So now if you see here, after 2015, SAP release every year on premises one edition: 1610, 1709, 1809. Now latest version we are going with SAP S4HANA 2022. Now, guys, from this year onwards, SAP release the version of on premises, and then I think next 2 years SAP will be not release the new edition, because in the month of February SAP released one blog where they mentioned that, going forward they will not release like every year that version. After every 2 years they release. So for example, this year they release in the month of October the new edition, but then I think next 2 years they will be not release that new edition, because we have now, if you see right now we are 2023, and we have only 4 years left, where actually as per the official statement by the SAP, every client should be moved to SAP S4HANA. Okay, and going forward, guys, many transformation projects will be coming, many S4HANA projects will be coming. The big organizations are looking now like more ready to move to SAP S4HANA. So this is the stand for, you can say that, deployment options. and we can say every year SAP release this, on-premise version. Got a point? Okay. Now what I'm trying to say here, guys, SAP HANA, is like a high performance analytical appliance, is a database. SAP HANA, you can say, is a database, but S4 HANA is a business process. Okay. So if you see here, we can say SAP S4 HANA. So S4 stand for SAP Business Suite. Okay, for HANA. So always remember, if somebody, because some of the people, know about, what is S4 stand for. So S4 is basically SAP Business Suite for HANA. Okay. Now, there are two things here. When we talk about, guys, SOH is basically SAP on HANA. It means, for example, right now you're using SAP ECC edition, and your customer said, I want to migrate to migrate my database. So, for example, ECC database is basically Oracle, right? And they want to move to HANA database. So that stands for your technically migration. Technically migration only for database. In that sense, no functional changes would be happen, no functionality would be changed in that time. Within the same system, you just move your data, like in the backend, from backend database to Oracle database to HANA database. But as a consultant, our role on that project is basically we can do the testing, okay, for all the scenarios in that sense. So when initially SAP S4HANA projects are coming, then I think company basically go to this first SOH, and then they move to SAP S4HANA. But now, guys, if the company is like, SAP ECC edition or R3 edition, and they want to migrate to SAP S4HANA, so they can directly go to SAP S4HANA, and because they just in that project itself, they can just go with migrate their database from Oracle to HANA. And once my database is on HANA, then we can install SAP S4 HANA business function on that box. So one thing you always remember here, SAP S4 HANA we can only install on HANA database. Okay, so that is my prerequisite here. Got a point? Any question, guys, till now on that, the deployment option and the year release, and the difference between SOH and SAP S4 HANA? And one more thing, guys. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying we are good.
Okay. One more thing you always remember, there's a difference between SAP HANA and S4 HANA. So don't be confused on that, right? If somebody asks you what is SAP HANA, you can say that SAP HANA is a in-memory database. Okay. And SAP S4 HANA, you can say we have to install SAP S4 HANA on HANA database to run my business process. Okay. So SAP S4 stand for SAP Business Suite for HANA, or SOH stand for SAP on HANA. It is just a database migration, and SAP S4 HANA is a complete end-to-end business process we have to implement. Got a point? Okay. Now, guys, so come to this slide here. So you can say that the basic concept of HANA. Always remember, HANA is we have in-memory data storage. Okay. So I will explain you. This is some technically, but I think as a beginner, guys, in SAP HANA, you should be know about the concept here. Okay, because customer would be asked you during your discussion with that time. Okay, so when we talk about HANA is like in-memory data storage. We have a dictionary encoding and data comparison, parallel execution capability, and delta store for optimized write operation. Now, what exactly the meaning of this we can discuss here. Okay. So first of all, as a consultant, right? Always remember. So see this diagram here. Earlier in ECC edition, our data was stored on hard disk. Okay. Now when you implement SAP S4 HANA, my data would be stored in the main memory. So so now you see that these two steps is no more when we talk about SAP S4 HANA implementation. So it means my backend system storage would be high. Okay, and high proficiency and I can get like more easily within a time that reports. So what happened in ECC, guys, when you develop some custom report, take example, okay, and you have put some logic, and you have put like multiple tables, okay, and then when you execute that report, Sometimes it will take 5 to 10 minutes, or might be sometimes it like take 15 minutes itself. Standard reports I'm talking about, because my data, I'm using SAP from last couple of years, and my data storage is very high, and all data was stored on hard disk. Okay, so it will be reduce my proficiency in terms of execution of reports in ACC edition. But now SAP S4HANA is like HANA database. It's like full-fledged data storage we have. So my data would be stored on the main memory, not on hard disk. Clear? Okay, or S4HANA projects, my data would be stored on the in backend in memory, not on hard disk. Clear? Any question on this point? Are we good?
Yeah, right, good.
Perfect, good. Now, guys, most important thing. Okay, now in SAP ECC. Okay, so take example, you develop some custom report and you just go with the tables, and a web person, and put the logic based on loop to loop. Okay, now in SAP, what happened in SAP ECC? Okay, we have only one functionality that stands for row based. So my data would be stored in the backend in the tables based on the row based. Okay, and when we develop any custom programs, okay, my system would be go with the each row, then I think they can go with the next line. But now in SAP S4HANA, we have a both function. We have a column based layout also. Okay. So if you see here, this is a scenario here. Okay. Like ID, name, country, and city. Okay. So if you see here, when you talk about row based, so row based data was stored on this way, right? Like the first row, then second row, then third row. So when system go in the back end, so they can just first check the first record, then second record, then third record. But when we talk about in column based, guys, they can quickly check first the first column itself. Okay. So if you see here, ID, they can in the row base, they can just first go with complete record, then come back to the again that second column. But in the column based approach in SAP S4HANA, they can first check all the column at one time, then second column, then third column, and fourth column. So it would be easy to get a report execution immediately in terms of a HANA database. Got a point? Okay. So this information, because this is basically a web person know that, but as a functional, because we are also working on the function specification, we can also put some logic. We also work with the web development programs. Okay. So as a function person, we should know that how my data is reflect in the backend. Okay. In terms of row based and column based approach. Are we good here, guys? Got a point? Okay. So always remember in SAP S4HANA, my data would be also stored on the column-based approach, and SAP recommend this approach in the backend. Okay. So day by day, when we take the further sessions, you can get more clarity in terms of SAP. When we go in SAP system, I will show you how the data is reflected in SAP backend. So that also help you. But in overall, you should be know that now in SAP S4HANA, we have two approach, row-based and column-based. But in ECC, we have only one approach that stands for row-based. So this is a difference between SAP, ECC, and S4HANA in terms of the data storage in the backend. Clear? Any question, guys? Are we good?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi,
Perfect.
can you explain that column-based storage?
Yeah, again. So take example, if you see this, Excel, okay, the one box here. So what happened in column based? Okay, so in column based in SAP S4HANA, SAP first check with the all the in one column, whatever the line items they can capture first. Okay, and the second column, what are the items they can capture along with that. Earlier in row based, they can just first go with first line item. For example, there are like 100 line item, 100 item in the one row, so they can first read 100 item in one row, then they can come back again the same same topic again, then they can go with the 100 items. But in column based, okay, if you see here, they first capture first column itself, so no need to again loop again the next row. Okay, so they can capture the data in the first row first, then second row, whatever the data they can capture. So column based, they can capture data easily. It will be easy to my storage in the backend. Okay, And when we execution report, my time of execution is like, immediately in terms of 2 minutes earlier. Now it will take like within a second based on this column based approach. Clear? Hello? Is it audible or not, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So is this clear? I think who have asked the question?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now guys, come to this again, this point. So now we have I think we have discussed about, what is SOH, what is SAP S4HANA, what S4HANA stands for. And we have also discussed about, the deployable option, the on-premises, on cloud, and on hybrid, and also the release versions when SAP has one first version release of SAP S4HANA in terms of 2014 onwards. SAP HANA come in picture 2010, but SAP S4HANA in terms of Simple Finance, the first version released in December 2014. Okay, so guys, this is some basic information you should be know whenever you work on the projects. Okay, now come to the point here. How many types of approach, guys, we normally use for S4HANA projects? Do you have any idea? So we have a 3 types of approach. Okay, we have a green field, we have a brown field, and we have a blue field. So whenever you work on S4HANA projects, normally you can get a chance to work on these 3 types of projects. Okay, in terms of S4HANA implementation. Okay, now what is a green field? So greenfield is totally a new implementation. So for example, those customers who are not using right now SAP, right? And they are right now using any other ERP system in the organization, and they are interested to now SAP S4HANA. So we can recommend that approach that stands for greenfield implementation. So greenfield is basically a fresh SAP S4HANA implementation for those customers who had not using as of now SAP system in their organization. Clear? Okay. Now when you talk about, guys, brownfield. Okay. So brownfield is basically, for example, if you're using right now SAP ECC or SAP R3 edition, and you want to now migrate to SAP S4HANA. Okay. So right now and during this training also, there's a one session, last session, where I will explain you as an overview about SAP ECC to S4HANA, what approach we can follow, what are the changes we can be replicate, and whatever the functionality will be changed during ECC to S4HANA migration, that we can discuss in the last session on this training. That is also in your curriculum, overall course. Okay. So brownfield is basically, you can say that, if I'm using already SAP, I want to move to SAP S4HANA. So that stands for your brownfield project. Okay. Now one more approach, guys, might be you not heard of this term, or many people are not aware about this. Okay. We can say bluefield approach. Okay. What is bluefield approach, guys? Blue. So take an example.
Rohit, sorry, I think your voice is breaking in between just now. Maybe.
Is it good
can
now?
Yes,
I
good
will
now.
repeat. Okay. I will repeat again. So is my voice audible now, right? Okay.
Yes, Rohit. Yeah.
So guys, when I talk about approach, so we have 3 types of approach. Okay. We have a green field, brown field, and blue field. Okay. During your SAP S4HANA journey, whenever you get a chance to work on S4HANA projects, you can get a chance to work on all these type of projects as per your knowledge, as per experience. Okay. So now first we have to understand here what exactly this type of projects we have. So when you talk about greenfield is like complete new implementation. Okay. So take example, in my organization, I'm right now using Oracle. I want to implement SAP in my organization going forward. So it means still as of now I'm not using SAP. Okay. So I want to implement SAP. So as a service provider, or as a service as a consultant, we can recommend to customer, you can implement SAP S4HANA in your organization. Okay. So that stands for greenfield implementation. So in simple way, those customers who had not using SAP as of now in their organization, they want to go with SAP. Okay. So we can recommend they can go with SAP S4HANA implementation in their organization. That stands for greenfield approach. Clear? Okay. Now, when we talk about brownfield approach, guys, brownfield is basically, you can say if I'm already using right now SAP and ECC. So you all are working, guys, as a SAP ECC, as a finance consultant. Some of you have more than 15 years, some of you have 10 years, some of you have less than 10 years experience. Okay. And you all are working on SAP ECC. Okay. So now, for example, your customer want to move to SAP S4HANA. So that stands for your brownfield implementation. So it means we can migrate my SAP ECC system to SAP S4HANA system. All my data, all my migration. Okay, so that stands for brownfield approach. Okay, so move to SAP ECC or R3 to SAP S4HANA. That stands for your brownfield approach. It means I'm already using SAP in my organization, but that version is basically SAP ECC or R3. I want to move to SAP S4HANA because you know that, guys, after 2027, ECC support will be rolled off. So all those customers who are right now using SAP ECC, we have recommend to that to move to SAP S4HANA. Got a point? Okay. So next 4 years, guys, I think as of now, if you see, it might be if you read the Economics Times or not. So as of now, 80% of the organization around the world, okay, are either already implemented SAP or they're still right now doing SAP S4HANA, projects. So there's huge demands are going in the market. So that's why we should all be ready on this new technologies. Okay. So this is stand for you guys brownfield approach. Any question this from greenfield and brownfield as of now, guys? Just let me know. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, guys, most important other activity that stands for bluefield approach. So what is a bluefield? So bluefield is basically, you can say, combination of greenfield and brownfield. And you can say this approach SDT, selective data transition. Might be some of you hear this word, but if not, so SDT is basically SAP standard functionality. Okay. So for example, I'm just taking one example here. Take example, X customer, last 15 years using SAP ECC. Take example. Okay. And they want to now move to S4HANA. Okay. But in ECC, for example, they have using right now 6 scenarios. Okay. 6 business scenarios. I'm just taking my example, guys. Okay. Okay. Now they want to move to S4HANA, but they don't want to migrate all ECC functionality in S4HANA because they are using SAP ECC from last 10-15 years. Okay. And they don't want to migrate all data in S4HANA when they want to use SAP S4HANA functionality. They only migrate, from ECC to S4HANA, only selective business process. Okay. Only selective information, only selective records they want to migrate. Okay. And once they migrate the selective information to S4HANA, and then in S4HANA, they want to implement some new functionalities. Okay. So if you see here, when we migrate, that stands for my brownfield. But when we implement new functionality in S4HANA, that stands for greenfield. So it is a combination between greenfield and brownfield. Okay. So some of the customers who are using last 10-15 years, and they are 80% of custom programs. Take example, guys. And okay. So they don't want to all SAP ECC functionality which they are using last 15 years and lots of pain areas. They don't want to migrate all information to S4HANA. They just want to migrate to the selective information, okay, the selective data, and then they can also get the benefit of S4HANA with the new functionalities. So that stands for your SDT project, selective data transition, and that we can say bluefield approach is a combination of greenfield and brownfield. Now, for SDT, guys, in market, there are lots of third-party, partners we have. Okay, so for example, the approach, or you can directly connect with SAP. Okay, and then I think you can implement SDT approach for your required customer. Those who are looking this approach. Okay, so this is a difference between, guys, your greenfield, brownfield, and bluefield. Because whenever you work on S4HANA projects, this basic information you should be know. Okay, how many types of approach we can use in SAP S4HANA projects? Clear? Any question, guys, between greenfield, brown?
Yes. One question for the blue field. Actually, when you are migrating only selective functionalities, then the benefits which we have in S4HANA, the column based and everything, the in-memory database. So that is if we are switching only partial things. So how that benefit will be available to the person who is only on ECC and only migrating the selective functionalities?
So whenever you move to SAP ECC to S4HANA, your multiple tables are now like obsolete. Okay, in SAP S4HANA we have a single table that stands for AC Docker, and all your other tables is now stand for your CDS view. You can only view that information in S4HANA. Okay, but in SAP S4HANA we have one single table that stands for AC Docker. That stands for your universal journal. We can go to that all during our going forward sessions also. So when we talk about, guys, selected data in transition, so it does not impact on your that column based and row based. Okay, because in SAP S4HANA by default you're in column based. Okay, when we do the migration, there's a standard migration tool cockpit we have for this SDT approach. Okay, and this SDT approach we cannot go with the based on that migration on the configuration level. It is based on the table level. Got a point? Selected data transition is basically a more technically migration. So this approach we can use based on the table level. Okay, so for example, like company code controlling area, take example. So we can migrate my data on the company code level or the controlling area or it's a plant level. So for example, in ECC, I have 5 company codes. Okay, but I just want to migrate on the data for only 2 company codes in S4HANA. Okay, and remaining 3 company code I don't want to, because that company code is basically is not original legal entity, but I just created in my system as a company code. Company code, guys, company code basically we can create if we have a legal entity, we have registered legal entities. Okay, but for other than, I think we can say that profit center, you can say business area in the old terms. Okay, so it's all depend on how my data would be replicated in S4HANA based on my conditions. Okay, so for example, I have using one company code, and under that I think we have accounts payable and account receivable scenarios. Okay, for example, accounts payable. Under accounts payable, I have a multiple payment method. I just want to migrate only, not for all payment method, but for specific payment methods in S4HANA. So that migration you can do on the table level, not on the configuration level. Got a point? So when we use SDT, we have a standard migration tool cockpit functionality. Okay, and you can get also the help of SAP in that projects for SDT, because SDT normally we need a help of SAP in terms of the consultant level, and you can say also help on the third party parties in the market. Okay, you can do as a partnership with them. Okay, and they can work as a front end and you can work as a back end with them. Okay, so this type of bluefield approach. Got it, my point? Hello, is it audible?
Yes.
Okay, so is this clear your point?
So I have one doubt. So in the brownfield, whatever the data exists in the ECC, all the data will be, the data should be migrated. There is, we cannot select any data.
Yeah. Brownfield is basically, so whenever you do the brownfield implementation, brownfield projects, there are some pre-checks, there are some prerequisites which we have to follow in SAP ECC environment before we migrate to S4HANA. Okay, so for example, I'm just taking one example, asset accounting. Okay, so if you're using old asset accounting, okay, then you have to first activate your business function in ECC environment, like a new asset accounting. Okay, EA_fin, and you also activate the depreciation, because in SAP S4HANA we can activate depreciation based on that accounting principle wise. So these type of detailed information we can discuss, but in overall you can say that brownfield is basically we can implement all my data SAP ECC to S4HANA like box. But before we doing the SAP ECC migration to S4HANA, we have some pre-checks and prerequisite in terms of technical or in terms of functional both. So that we can be taking care. Now this brownfield approach, okay, if you see your curriculum, okay, in the last session, okay, this is last session where I can explain you about the how that functionalities works as overview sessions. Okay, so where we can cover all my prerequisites or what are the prerequisites we need to follow, what are the pre-checks, what are the SAP notes, and what are the functionalities change in SAP S4HANA in terms of tables or in terms of the screen layouts. All would be we can discuss in that my last session. Okay, this is also part of your course. Clear? Okay.
Yeah.
So one more example, one more. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Rohit, this is Prasad here actually. So when you are saying that in case of blue field, as you mentioned, if the entity is, if for example the customer doesn't want to transfer like all the entities which are there in ECC, and they selectively transfer, but while transfer, like say for example, there are two or maybe there are five company code, and out of those five company code we have one company code which is kind of a holding company or just basic, where they don't want to activate like all the scenario which are required for the other entity. So does that possible? That means
Yeah,
we
that,
can
that is
selectively
possible.
activate.
That is possible. That's what I'm saying. SDT approach we can do with the table level. Okay. So that
Okay.
particular record in the table. So table level we have to migrate. We have a migration tool for SDT approach. Okay. In this particular tool, we have a functionality. We have a combination functionality in the table level. Okay. And we can only replicate my data on based on that company code, controlling area, chart of accounts. And one more thing, guys, before we can use the blue field approach, you can also do some data harmonization activity in terms of charter accounts. So for example, you have in one box five company codes and you have one single charter account or multiple charter accounts. You don't want to migrate all charter accounts in SAP S4HANA box. You only want the specific charter accounts, GL accounts in SAP S4HANA. So that you can also data harmonize in the table level. And once and but in this case we can properly get a acknowledgement from the business side and because they should be sign off that acknowledgement. Okay, based on that we can migrate my data in S4HANA for Bluefield approach. So data harmonization you can also do that in Bluefield approach. Okay, so whatever the data you want to migrate, whatever the data you don't want to migrate. Okay, now other than these three approach, guys, one additional approach we have. Okay, that stands for SAP S4HANA Central Finance. Okay, now Central Finance, basically we can only use if I don't want to decommission my current environment, but I can also get the benefit of SAP S4HANA for centralized reporting. Okay, so take example, guys. Some of the big organization don't directly move to SAP S4HANA for all the functionalities. Okay, in brownfield approach, so they can go with the center finance first. So whatever, so for example they are right now using multiple SAP system or multiple non-SAP systems. Okay, now but they can also get benefit of SAP S4HANA. So we can connect their SAP and non-SAP system with SAP S4HANA Center Finance, because Center Finance is a product within SAP S4HANA. Okay, so all your non-SAP system or SAP system continue work as whatever they are doing right now, but the same financial data we can replicate in the S4HANA Center Finance for centralized purpose. Okay, so that is a separate topic. Okay, but that we can also use in terms of that those customer who does not want to decommission means they want to continue their current system, ECC or non-SAP, but they can also get a benefit of in terms of financial centralized reporting, centralized payments, or on finance point of view. So we can use Center Finance. Once they are streamlined in the Center Finance, then they can activate in the same box in the other modules like MMSD and other modules also. Okay, got a point? So we have multiple approach, guys. But as a fresher or as a new terminology, you can say S4HANA. Okay, as for HANA, we can say the different approach here: greenfield, brownfield, and bluefield approach. Clear?
I have one more doubt. Rohit. So normally, I mean, we don't go live all the company codes at a time, right? So that approach we call it as, I mean, first we go live with the 2 company codes and then we'll, I mean, phase by phase. So that approach we call it as a blue field or a brown field.
No. That is your, I think, your methodology, right? Okay. See, company code implementation is like your methodology. Earlier we can use a SAP methodology, but now we can use Activate methodology, right? That phase approach, you can continue whatever you're doing right now. Okay. So for example, I'm working on one implementation project. Okay. And that I think first I will go to US implementation, then I think I have a Europe implementation. So in US, I think first I will go with first phase in the US and second phase with my Europe. So that activity is still going on. There's no impact on that. That stands for your greenfield or brownfield, whatever. Okay. So phase approach you can use in both phase, greenfield or brownfield. Any case you can use that. Okay.
Okay. But this I confused that. I mean, you are saying that in the blue field, I mean, if you want to go over 2 company codes first.
Blue field is basically data migration. The phase. See, you are saying you're talking about the phase in the project. Okay. I'm talking about the complete overall migration perspective. The phase is all depend on business to business. Either they can go with the agile approach, or either they will go with the waterfall approach. It's all depend on business to business. But my approach, you can say it would be remain same. Got it?
Okay.
Are you clear, or can I get more example?
Yeah, if I mean still I have
no problem. You repeat your question again. I will answer you again.
Actually, we have around 20-30 company codes in our project. So I mean now we are going live for 2-3 company codes with the S4. So that approach we call it as, I mean, brownfield only, right? I mean, we are
that is a brownfield approach. Okay. That is a brownfield
so
approach.
I mean at the time of, I mean, migration, that selective data transition, I mean, will migrate. That I confused actually.
Selective data transition is basically only database perspective. For example, you have right now using multiple functionalities, and you don't want to go with the multiple functionality in like S4HANA. Okay, like for example, 6 scenario you're right now using in ECC edition. You don't want to migrate to 6 scenario in S4HANA. Okay, because some of the scenarios is like not exit in S4. S4HANA on one single transition code, FS00 itself. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here, if you are using like 6 business scenario in ECC edition, okay, and some of the business scenario is not relevant in S4HANA, okay, because due to technologies or due to some functionality change, okay. So for that particular scenario, I just want to implement directly in S4HANA instead of just migrate to S4HANA through SDT approach. SDT, for example, I have 1 lakh records. Take example, okay, and the last 15 years I'm using SAP. So I don't want to migrate my last 15 years data. I just want to move to my last 1 year data in S4HANA, and remaining data would be archived, or we can say as a opening balance in the selected data approach. I don't want to move all my line items in S4HANA. Got a point now?
Okay. Yeah, I got it now. I mean, kind of scenarios
exactly.
selection. Yeah, so,
exactly.
Okay, like
exactly.
I mean, example we have
brownfield is like a full flash, right? It's not like only based on scenario. It's like full migration. But bluefield is basically the scenario based approach. Okay.
Can we? I have just one example. So now we are using intercompany reconciliation as part of ECC. That part that ICR is not there in S4 right now. So I mean that elimination of that intercompany reconciliation data. Can we call it as bluefield?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Okay. So I think we are clear, guys, right here. Any other question on this approach?
Yeah. Hi. Whether can you choose any of these approaches for either, if it is that applicable only for on-premise or versus public?
It's all depend on business to business. Okay. It's all depend on business which functionality they want to implement as the organization. It's all depend on their budget. It's all depend on their business requirements. It's all depend on their future roadmap, right? either they
will brownfield work for public cloud?
Yeah. Public cloud is not brownfield. Brownfield is public cloud is basically on that service, on that URL base. For public cloud, it is work, but on very limited functionality, and we have not recommended that. Public cloud is basically we can just only specific services only, right? Okay. And public cloud, not all functionality you can migrate. So for example, you're already using SAP CC right now, okay, and you want public cloud, so it means you will be not able to move to all your ECC migration to S4HANA. That is not possible, right? So we normally use and public cloud also brownfield is not recommended. We can always say on premise or on private cloud. Basically on premises, but I think on private cloud also we can recommend. On private cloud is equal to your on premises itself. Okay.
Okay. So you are saying there in that case only greenfield will work, right? For public cloud.
Yeah. Greenfield on public cloud, but for specific services only, not all functionalities. Once again. So for example, in finance, we have multiple functionalities. Not all functionalities work in the public cloud. Public cloud is very limited standard functionalities. And for mid-sized company, or you can say, small company, if they are only looking for some specific services, so we can recommend that public cloud for that particular, clients only. Because in the public cloud, we have very limited functionalities in the greenfield itself also. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is difficult to do a brownfield on public, right?
Public cloud, brownfield, public cloud, we will not recommend. Okay, and it's not possible. We can always say on premises and on private cloud. Private cloud, I repeat again, private cloud is nothing. It's equal to your on premises, but the only difference in private cloud is basically there are two options. Either you are taking care of the infra, maintenance by yourself, or you can hand over your infra, like a data center, taking care by your third party, like AWS, or you can say Google, or many more third parties we have in the market. Okay, but private cloud in terms of functionality is same, is equal to your on premises itself. Clear?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Great, guys. Any other question? So till now, guys, I think you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So I'm having one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like from my previous experience, what we had, like if we are having 10 to 15 company codes, and we go initially we go for 2 major company codes. But if we do the implementation from the scratch, like whole new implementation, that will be treated as a greenfield, not as a brownfield.
Exactly.
Because we are not migrating the master data. We will be creating master data, new master data as per the old one.
Exactly. So
sometimes what happens that in brownfield, in old EC system, that there is a master data issue where there are lots of problems for the master data. So like what I had experience, like they had gone for greenfield and created the new master data only.
Yeah, reason for that, good question. Reason for that, because that customer is using 80 to 90% custom programs.
Okay?
Right. And when they implemented in earlier SAP, right? Okay, at that time their master data is not properly maintained in terms of organization structure point of view, right?
Yeah.
So instead of migrate to S4HANA, we can always recommend they can go with the SAP S4HANA greenfield implementation.
Okay.
For that customer, because 80% custom, there is no sense to migrate S4HANA. Okay.
Right.
So always the better option as a consultant or as a good consultant, we can always recommend they can go with the greenfield approach, the new implementation.
Right.
Okay. So now, guys, it's all depend on. So that's why the consultancy come in picture. Okay. We have to understand the business requirement, and based on that, we can provide the multiple approach. Okay. So we can't. So whenever we go with so I had did many implementation, many rollouts and migration projects, guys. Okay. And the best part of discussion with the customer, okay, is the first 2 months, right, during foundation phase. You have to discuss in detail level with customer. Configuration is not a big thing, guys. I repeat again. Configuration is not a big thing. As a consultant, as a function consultant, our main responsibility to design the solution. Okay, understand the requirement properly and design the solution. whatever we are designing, whatever we are understanding, that only we can configure. Configuration is like it's not a big thing. The big thing on this, this type of projects, to understanding the clear requirement and how we can design the solution as per their business requirement on easiest way. Okay, not very complex, but yes, how we can provide my solution in easiest way, that we can stand for here. Okay, clear, guys?
Hi Rohit, this is Srinivas. Sorry, I joined a bit of delay actually. So I missed actually. Could you please kindly advise? I mean, what is the blue field actually? I mean, I know about green field and brown field. Could you please explain about?
No problem. Thank you. So
Thank you.
I repeat again. So blue field is basically a combination of green field and brown field. Okay. Normally, we can say whenever we implement blue field approach, we can use the functionality that stands for selective data transition. Okay. Yeah. What it means? It means I can only migrate my required data, okay, to S4HANA from ECC. Okay. So for example, if I'm using 6 business scenario, okay, this 6 business scenario I'm using in ECC, but I know that this all 6 business scenario, okay, some of the business scenario is not relevant in S4HANA, okay, because S4HANA is a new technology, is new functionality. So they can replicate some of the business scenario to S4HANA on selected data, okay, in terms of table level, not on configuration level, the table level. So there is a migration cockpit, okay. So whenever we use Bluefield approach, we can migrate my data on the table level from sources from ECC to S4HANA for relevant business scenario. So for example, in customer master, I have take example 10,000 records. I don't want to migrate all 10,000 records in S4HANA. I only want to migrate only, like example 9,000, because 1,000 records are totally, not relevant. They are that business user is created by default, but that's not relevant. So I don't want to migrate all that remaining 1,000 data. I just want to migrate to 9,000 data of customer master. So that stands for selective data. Whatever the selective data I want to migrate to S4HANA. That stands for your Bluefield approach. So it is a combination of greenfield and brownfield. Okay. So take example, I'm using SAP last 15 years, 6 business scenario I'm using. Okay. Now I want to S4HANA. In S4HANA, out of 6, I want to migrate only 4 scenario. And I'll in the same S4HANA box, I want to implement some new scenarios also. So new scenarios stand for greenfield and migration stand for your brownfield. So that's a combination of brownfield and bluefield. Okay. So only selective data when we migrate, that stands for your bluefield approach. So now whatever guys, lots of companies right now, because what happened, they are using long back, like 20 years, 25 years SAP. Okay. So as a consultant, we can first understand their business scenario, business requirement, and based on that, we can recommend these 3 approach here. Which approach is relevant for this organization? As a consultant, we can provide. And we can suggest that you can go with this approach that is a beneficial for your overall in terms of cost, in terms of your data harmonization, or in terms of future roadmap. Okay. So these 3 approaches comes in that picture that time.
Okay. And for example, actually, accounts payable, accounts receivable, asset accounting we have. So in that case, I need, the S4HANA implementation only for asset accounting, and doesn't require, it will come for accounts receivables. So in that case, is it possible to proceed this kind of scenario here?
Yeah, you can do that, but again, that's on table level, but there's some prerequisite for that, because in SAP S4HANA, we have a new asset accounting. Okay. And ECC, you're using old asset accounting. So you have to perform some pre-checks, some prerequisite in the ECC environment. Okay. First, then I think you can do this activity on table level. You can do that. But that is on the GL level, not accounts payable level. Got it?
Only this can be happening only for GL level.
Yeah, GL level. Right? Not because I think accounts payable is not there, right? So I think you can. So how we can do that? Your customer and vendor that time, right? Got a point? Okay.
Yes.
But normally, I think this case is like normally very rare. Okay. Because whenever we asset accounting, definitely we require that in terms of when we go the complete purchase order with purchase order, then I think that definitely back in as an offset, right? But on the other terms, the prerequisite is basically, in ECC we are using asset accounting old functionality. Okay, but in S4HANA there's a prerequisite, we have to always use the new asset accounting instead of old asset accounting. For new asset accounting, we have some functionality which we have to implement in my ECC environment. Like EA basis function we have to activate, depreciation engine we have to activate. So that prerequisite we have to follow. Okay. Clear?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. So that's why, guys, I put this in Notepad because this is like important activity before we can go. This is like base of S4HANA. Okay. So first you have to understand this. Okay. Otherwise, if you're not going this approach and directly go with, okay, the GL configuration and explain that is not my approach. I always go with first, the base functionality. Your base concept should be first clear. Then I think you can go with that, process-wise knowledge, which we can go in the going forward sessions also. Okay. This is clear, guys. Any other question on this? Is I'm going fast or I'm okay? Just let me know, guys. I can I'm trying my best to, in each level. Are we good here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Perfect.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So this is stand for approach. Now, guys, I think you might be know that, right? We have a different types of projects. I think you all are working on SAP, right? So you know that we have a different types of projects: implementation, support, rollout, and migration. Can anyone tell me about the difference between these all projects? What is implementation? What is support? What is rollout? What is migration? Can anyone tell me in brief?
Yeah, Rohit. Basically, when we are doing the implementation means the SAP, the client is, whether they are using the earlier ECC system or SAP, whatever version they are using, or not non-SAP, but they have to put their business on the SAP. So what they have to make sure that that the business they are running currently, it should be on the SAP. So that is it is implementing the business on the SAP platform. So that is implementation. So when they have it is already implemented, the go live is done. Then once it is production go live, the production go live is done, then they have to keep on running the business on the SAP. So they will keep on getting the tickets, they will keep on getting the issues. So the client, the consultant has to support them that they should not be getting the issues on a daily basis. So that is the kind of a support we have to give them, that okay, they are on the SAP, but it should be functioning properly. So that is the support part we have to give them. Okay. So the rollout is something that, okay, they have a lot of company codes, they have a lot of areas, geographies. So they have implemented SAP on a particular one geography or one company code or one plant. Now they have to implement the SAP for their own client has different geographies, working in different geographies. So one geography is done, or one company code is done, one plant is done. So they want to implement the SAP on the next geography or area or company code or plant. So that is the rollout part we have to do. Okay. The migration is something I believe that it is, if you talk about the S4HANA migration, so they have to migrate from SAP ECC or non-SAP to S4HANA. And if we talk about in general terms, then migration is something that they are migrating from whatever legacy system they are in, from that legacy system to SAP.
Perfect. Great. Thanks, Omid. I think you have explained very well here. Okay. So all your points are valid here, right? So guys, we have to understand this. Okay. So I think Sumit, you have explained very well here in terms of the difference between here. Okay. So now, guys, I'm just repeat again. Take 1 minute only. Just summarize here. So implementation, you can say that those customers who are not using SAP as of now, they want to go with SAP in the organization. That stands for implementation. Support is basically already implemented SAP, and they need like day-to-day support on the ticket base. Okay. And so as a consultant, we can provide the support to customer. Okay. Rollout, basically, yes, I think if I have a two company in one is US, one in India. US is already implemented SAP, but in India location that need to implement SAP, so that stands for your rollout project. Okay. And your rollout is also, you can say country specific also, or region specific also, or company code specific also. This all depend on the different parameters here. Okay. Now, when we talk about migration, guys, okay, migration is basically, you can say, is very well you mentioned. Either we can go in terms of S4HANA, we can say EC to S4HANA migration, or we can say my selected data transition migration. Okay. Or we can say technically migration. So for example, when we say technical migration, so my database migration. So right now I'm using SAP ECC, SAP ECC database, Oracle database. I want to move the technical migration on SOH, HANA database. So that is stand for technical migration. And function migration is basically if you move to SAP ECC to S4HANA, so that stands for your function migration. Got it? So we should be know that the difference between the different types of projects we have. So this is my 4 types of projects we have. Clear? Okay. Now come to the point, guys. Here, you know that in ECC we have a we can say SAP FICO module. Okay. FICO stands for your financial accounting and management accounting. CO stands for your controlling, right? So you can say that financial accounting and controlling. Okay. But now in SAP S4HANA, what we can say? FTM. FTM stands for your finance to manage. Okay. So the terminology of modules name is also changed. So don't be confused here. Okay. So when I talk about FICO, it means in S4HANA, we can say FTM, finance to manage. SD, we can say in ECC module, sales and distribution. But in SAP S4HANA, we can say order to cash. Okay. MM, we can say material management. In S4HANA, we can say procure to pay. Production planning in PP, but in S4HANA, we can say demand to supply. The same in ECC, we can say PM, plant maintenance. So in S4HANA, we can say maintain to settle. Got a point? Okay. So the terminology of modules name is also changed now. This is like some example. There are many more. Okay. So you should be, don't be confused here that the modules name here. So whenever you work on S4HANA projects, guys, we always recommend these names, not like these names. Okay. Is it clear? Okay. So finance to manage is basically finance to manage, financial accounting and management accounting. Order to cash means like complete, like sales from quotation to payment, cash receivable, right? We can say that OTC. Procure to pay, like from since we have to select a vendor to procure a material to pay till payment. That stands for P2P. DTS is basically demand to supply plan, production planning to that raw material to finished goods. That stands for your DTS. Maintain to settle, basically your PM module. Earlier we can say plant maintenance, but we can now say MTS. And there are many modules, guys. The list also, the change. Okay. Any question on this? Are you aware about this earlier or like not?
Yeah, we are aware. I'm aware actually, Rohit. I'm always a bit of confused actually about what's the difference between implementation and migration. So, I mean, is there any one difference? Could you please?
Yeah, definitely. Implementation is basically, you can say that fresh implementation. When I say fresh implementation, so for example, in your organization, okay, right now you're using Oracle. Take example, okay, and you want to remove Oracle and you want to implement SAP in your organization. So it means you have not using SAP as of now in your organization. So that stands for implementation project. Okay.
Yes.
Migration, basically you are already using SAP in your organization. Okay, from last 10 years, 2 years, or 5 to 10 years. Okay. But now you want to migrate to S4HANA because as a SAP recommendation and SAP restrictions, after 2027, SAP ECC will be not in coming picture to support minimum support, but not fully support. So all customers right now migrate to S4HANA. Those who are already using SAP, they want to S4HANA migration. So this is the difference between implementation and migration. And as Sumit said also, right? Implementation is basically those customers who are not using SAP, and migration is basically, you can say, technically migration who are already using SAP, they want to migrate to with S4HANA, or within ECC they want some migration. They can do that.
So you can say my upgradation here.
Yeah, you can say upgrade. Upgrade is basically, you can say, okay, I understand your question now. Okay, so you can say here upgrade. So don't be confused, guys. This upgrade and migration. When we, and there's a one other term, okay, in going right now, conversion. Okay, so don't be confused on this. Okay, so when you say upgrade, Upgrade is basically, we can say technically upgrade. So for example, my database is right now Oracle database. I want to move to S4HANA database. So that is upgrade. Okay, that you can say upgrade or migration. Both way you can see that, because upgrade is basically you have to upgrade your ESP package. Okay, but also you can also change your database. So database stands for your migration, and package upgrade you can stand for your upgrade. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually move your data from SAP ECC to S4HANA. That stands for your migration or conversion, both approach.
Okay.
Okay. So this they are different names, but don't be confused here. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But in terms of modules, guys, this is the new modules, you can capture. And whenever you work, guys, don't be use these old names. Okay. In S4HANA projects with customer. Always recommend to customer, we can implement FTM module. So might be some of you have experience on the RFP solutioning or not. I'm not sure. So because I had experience, I work RFPs also. So whenever the new bid is coming, new RFP in the market, so I think all service provider go through the requirement, and based on that they can provide the effort and solutioning, and we have to present to customer. Then we can based whatever the customer feel okay, they provide that project to that particular organization. Okay. So always remember, in my solution, we can say when we implement S4HANA, we can say that this terminology. Okay, these modules. Clear? Not like the old terminology. Any question, guys, till now? Are we good here for modules perspective? Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, most important, guys, might be, I'm not sure you are aware or not, but this is important activity. So that stands for SAP Activate methodology. So just let me know, guys, in ECC edition, what methodology you're using right now in ECC edition, in ECC implementation projects? SAP methodology, right?
Yeah.
We can say, blueprint, or you can say, preparation blueprint. Then we have a, that approach, right? But in SAP S4HANA, guys, we can use Activate methodology. Okay. SAP Activate methodology. What are the phase? I can explain you here. Okay. So during S4HANA projects, we can say that our SAP Activate methodology. Okay. SAP Activate methodology is basically, we have a 6 type of scenario. One is like discover, then prepare, then explore, then build, then run and go live, and then post go live support. Okay, same like SAP also. We have another approach, but in SAP S4HANA, we can say that SAP Activate methodology, this is the 6 phases we can normally use in my implementation projects. Can anybody tell me what is the purpose of discovery phase? Anyone, any thoughts, guys, in your mind? Just let me know.
Basically, like Rohit, discover phase here means like blueprinting, like gathering business requirement.
Okay.
If I'm not wrong.
No. So I think we'll be not going to requirement gathering discover phase. Okay. But your point in other way, right? But I think logically, I will tell you. Okay, what exactly the purpose of this? Anyone else?
Is it regarding the identifying the client, identifying the client that okay, this is ready for SAP HANA implementation, S4HANA implementation, identifying?
Okay. So you're also quite on that. Okay, but let me go my end. So guys, discover phase. Okay, discover is basically, before we can start any project. Okay, discover, we can say that, so take example, I'm your customer, and during discover phase, as a core user, so there are 2 types of user, guys, that one is core user, one is like end user. So I'm a core user for my customer end. Okay, and I have given you some 3-4 scenario. Okay, and I request to my service provider to provide me some workshop on this scenario, how these functionalities work in SAP. Okay, so during workshop sessions, or you can say, I think you mentioned one word, requirement gathering. So it's not like complete requirement gathering, but yes, we can say that the workshop on the specific area which customer is looking as a pain points. Okay, so that points we can leverage in the discover phase. So we can set up some workshop with customer, and where we can present that how that functionality work in SAP system, so they can aware and they know how that functionality work in SAP. Okay, so that stands for your discover phase. Got it? Now prepare phase. Prepare phase, guys, prepare phase is basically so for example, you are working on TCS, right? And you are working on one project. Okay, so in the customer side also, the you one like some of your different modules, take example, and the client side also we have a core users with you, right? So one-to-one connect with a core user. Okay, because they will be help you in future for the requirement gathering during as and to be solutioning, right? So prepare phase is basically you can get all infra settings, all SAP login setting with you. Okay, your project manager, your project manager, like discuss with you the complete project plan. Okay, for 1 year or 2 years plan, whatever the project's duration. That my each project duration is different. Some project duration is 1 year, some project duration is like 6 months, some is 2 years. It's all depend on business requirements, right? Now based on that duration we can divide that months, this 6 months. So take example, my project duration is 1 year. Okay, so 1 year in here, my project duration is 1 year, take example. Okay, now what I do normally, okay, discover phase I can 1 month, take example. Prepare phase I can say 1 month. Okay, explore phase we can say like 3 months. Okay, or build phase we can say that 4 months. Okay, and or you can say explore also 4 months. Okay, and this is 1 month, this is 1 month. So I have divided my 1 year in these 6 phases, and based on that planning and based on that day-to-day activity, project manager explain you each day what exactly your roles and what exactly what we are planned and what actually we did. Okay, so all your planning on day-to-day activity you can discuss with your project manager. So project manager will explain you also, and also to business also. Okay, so the core business user also participate on that meeting as a kickoff. So in that kickoff meeting, your project manager can explain you that overall planning of next 1 year on this project. So that activity also can happen in the prepare phase, right? Okay, all your infra, all your connect one-to-one connect with business. Okay, and overall the project kickoff meeting, that all will be happening in the prepare phase. Now, explore phase is basically is nothing your requirement gathering. Earlier we can say blueprint. In ECC time we can say blueprint, but now in SAP S4HANA we can say explore. Okay, you can say explore or you can say foundation. Okay, so explore is basically what? Explore is basically we can get the as is requirement from business, and based on that we can prepare a to be solution, to be document. So you can say business blueprint document, right? I think you had a you know that, guys, right? I think you in your implementation projects, and roller projects, you did this activity, right or not?
Yeah,
As you said, so normally whenever we do implementation projects during blueprint phase or explore phase, what we can do? We can normally get the requirement from business. Okay, we can connect with each. We can go with each requirement in detail, and then we can leverage that requirement with my to be solution. Once my as I said 2B document is complete, then we can take a sign off on business. Before start, guys, any configuration in SAP system, we should be take a sign off from the business in mail, or also like their sign off in the document. Okay, because that business blueprint document is my main document. Based on that I can go with head, with the required configuration. Might be some gaps also, guys, might be some gaps in the export phase, because customer said I want this functionality, but as a service provider we can say this is not possible in standard way. But yes, we can work around, and there's a gap here. So we can say risk management, we can say gap analysis, that we can prepare one Excel sheet during this export phase also, right? But as a consultant we always remember, in this phase we have to take a proper sign. If you're not proper sign of this blueprint phase, then might be in the build phase they said, I want this functionality also, but that functionality was never discussed during explore phase. Okay, so we cannot always accept their point. We can say that we can treat this as a change request, right? So this is my normal day-to-day activity. Now in build phase, guys, you know that in build phase we can do the configuration, we can do the unit, we can do the multiple testing here. So testing in sense of unit testing, integration testing, and many more testing, and also the final we can say UAT. UAT is basically where we have to prepare test tips and business user can test each scenario, right? And as a service provider, we can help them in the quality system. So that we can do in the build phase. And run go live is basically, earlier we can say final preparation, but now we can say run and go live. Okay, so go live, you know that once my project is go live, and normally in our 1 month minimum support we provide to customer as a post go live support within the project. Now or you can say hypercare. I think in other way you can in other way you can say hypercare, but earlier we can say post go live support, right? So it is like 1 month, or you can say it is like 2 months or 3 months also. Okay, depend on that customer requirement. Sometimes customer said I want 3 months hypercare support, so we can do that. Okay, but logically as a standard best practice we can say 1 month support definitely required, because we have to close 1 month and for customers. Clear? Are you good here, guys? Hello, is my audible or not? Sorry.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Right. So you clear now this activate methodology. So always remember, whenever you work in S4HANA, we can say not ASAP methodology. ASAP we can use in ACC, but we can the name is now changed. So we can say SAP activate methodology. Okay. This duration is definitely changed based on that my project duration. Okay. It's all and during RFP solution, guys, whenever project is not coming to our organization. So during that time, as a solution architect, we can provide this solution to customer. Okay, how much time we can require for this. Based on this, we can capture a cost also. Okay, so this is also required during S4HANA implementation. You can say activate methodology. Okay, now you clear this part as of now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now come back to that again. Sorry. PPT is again. There is one slide I want to show you. Okay. So guys, what is the benefit of this, in memory? Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, whenever we implement SAP S4HANA, okay, my data would be stored on the in-memory, not hard disk. Okay. So the benefit is basically faster storage. My storage quality is like improved, because earlier my data was stored on a hard disk, but now my data would be stored in the in-memory. Okay. So that is a benefit of how my data would reflect. Okay, so my storage quality will be like my storage quality is like increase. Okay, so I can get that benefit. Now lowest latency means earlier what happened, so take example, I'm taking an example like costing reports. Might be costing reports, that there is a one report K24. Okay, K24, that, right? Like where we have to like all proper reports. That report sometimes taking much time, standard reports. Okay, in ECC. But now in S4HANA with the like in-memory database, that report is now coming within a second. So what I'm trying to say, guys, in ECC versus S4HANA, the major difference is basically my database. Okay, earlier we can say Oracle database, or now we can say HANA database. HANA database is very strong here in terms of the backend part. Okay, so my data would be stored in memory instead of hard disk. So two steps, that, right? I think I explained these two steps to you, right? So earlier that data was stored on hard disk, but now data was stored in memory. So these two steps is not required now. So that's why when we execution some reports, my data would be coming on the right track in the easiest way. Clear? Okay. So this is your stand for your basic of S4HANA and SAP and S4HANA basic functionality. Okay. Now we can go ahead with the the next steps here. So we can discuss about now SAP S4HANA overview perspective. Okay. So any question till now, or we can discuss like 2 minutes first, all any queries you have till now, whatever we discussed, then we can go ahead the next step. Anyone, guys? Because again, guys, treat this like session as a discussion session instead of just training. Okay, because whatever question in your mind, just ask me. So this is the right platform to get this knowledge in S4HANA, and I'm sure I will provide you on very detailed level training. Okay, this all information which I explained to you guys, very rare trainers can provide. Okay, they can start quickly within that immediately that configuration or that other way. But as a consultant, we should always remember this this information. I can take 1 minute pause here. Just let me know, guys, if any question. Then I can go with the next step. We are okay. Hello.
We are good.
Yeah, we can continue.
Okay, perfect. Hope you guys had a breakfast or not as of now. I know it's like morning, so yeah. Okay, so guys, the next step here. Okay, so when we talk about SAP S4HANA overview, okay, so first of all we have to understand the architecture here. Okay, architecture instant. Guys, please on mute. Sorry. Okay. So now, so guys, in ECC, what happened? Okay, what is my main challenge? In ECC edition. In ECC edition, you can say that this is my GL. Okay, GL is my main ledger, and then we have a sub ledger. We can say asset accounting, profitability, controlling, material ledger, or accounts payable, account receivables. Right, all is like we have. But here the challenge is basically we have to reconcile my data with GL. Okay, so when we talk about FI, then I have to reconcile with CO data. Okay, reconciliation at month end. We have also reconciliation between my COPA reports with GL. Okay, now we have a material ledger functionality that is also reconciled with my GL, and asset accounting also, because in asset accounting we have a fixed assets. Okay, but and fixed asset like data, then we have to reconcile with my GL. Okay, so this reconciliation activity is a main challenge in ECC environment. Okay, so you can say that no center and GL accounting, asset accounting totals, different level of details due to document line items built. This is the main challenge we normally when we upload my data in ECC environment. Okay, or we can say material ledger does not store on GL level. So these all are the basic challenge, guys, because in ECC we have a multiple tables, right? So for example, in ECC we have a header table is BKPF. Okay, but in terms of when we say accounts payable, so open item, we can say our data would be stored on the BSIK, and once data is clear, then it's like a full data. Once the invoice is cleared, then data is reflected in the BSIK table. And same like for customer and vendors, so customers, and same for GL, and same for many more things, right? So we have a different tables, different reconciliation required. Okay, because in ECC we have a different tables, then I think we have to reconcile multiple reconciliation at the month end. Okay, but guys, in SAP S4HANA, okay, we have one single table for line item that stands for AC DOCA. AC DOCA is basically, you can say that is a universal journal. Okay, so all your existing tables, okay, is now all when I say existing tables, all your line items tables from ECC system is now like in SAP S4HANA, we can say CDS view, but in SAP S4HANA we can only use the AC DOCA table. AC DOCA is basically the one single table where all your data is stored. Okay, so if you see here, this is my universal journal. Okay, AC DOCA table. In AC DOCA table, all your GL information, all your accounts payable, account receivables, asset accounting, CO, material ledger, all line items are stored on one single table. For earlier, what happened, guys? For CO, we have a COEP table, right? And that is not now required, because all information is now stored on one single table. So all your different submodules, okay, now we have one single platform that stands for Universal Journal, okay, and that stands for your AC DOCA table, where all your line items are stored. Your BKPF and BSEC is remains still same there, right? So BKPF is basically still remains same for header information, and BSEC is still same for the as a cluster table. But in terms of other tables, okay, when I talk about other tables, so guys, these are the tables here. So these tables are now replaced with compatibility view. Okay. So if you see here, this is my index table. So we have two types of tables. One is like index table, and other is my aggregate tables. Okay. So index table, you see this. This all tables is now obsolete or replaced with compatibility view. So in SAP S4HANA, you can only view these tables. Okay. But actually, your data would be implement in SAP S4HANA. Okay, with AC Docker table. So during greenfield implementation, okay, no need to do this activity because in new implementation S4HANA by default we have AC Docker tables. But when we talk about migration, guys, EC to S4HANA migration, okay, so ECC we have multiple tables, but in S4HANA we have AC Docker for line items. Okay, so when we do the migration, there is a configuration, there is a pre-checks activity that we can do as a CDS view. So all these tables is now moved to in S4HANA as a CDS view. Okay, and all your data you can only view in S4HANA on these tables. Okay, as a CDS view. This table is remains same in S4HANA, but as a CDS view, only view, not change, no edit, only view. You can able to see this information. But once your project is implemented, okay, once you migrated to your S4HANA, then going forward, what are the activities you can do that you can use only one single table that stands for EC Docker for line items. Okay, so all these tables during ECC to S4HANA migration, okay, is now replaced with the capability view. So for example, in ECC, we have a customer master KNB1. KNB1 is not relevant in S4HANA because in ECC we use customer and vendor, but in S4HANA customer and vendor is replaced with business partner. Okay, so in ECC we have to create for customer like multiple transaction codes for customer creation, change, display, delete, block, right? All that transaction is not relevant in S4HANA. Okay, in S4HANA, we can say business partner, single transaction code BP. Got a point? So all that your customer vendor is now replaced with your business partner. So whenever you do SAP S4HANA implementation project, guys, okay, then I think you can configure the business partner configuration. Okay, because customer and vendor is not relevant. Customer and vendor is replaced with the business partner is overall. Okay, so these are the tables. Okay, these are the tables is replaced with the capability view. Got a point? Any question, guys, till now? Sorry. Any question, guys? Are you okay? Are we good?
Yeah, Rohit.
Yeah.
Great. So always remember, guys, the implementation not require this activity because it's by default on S4HANA AC Docker tables. But during your migrations, these all tables are now replaced with CDS view. You can only view these tables, but actually you can use the AC Docker table in S4HANA. Okay, got it. So if you see here, okay, what happened earlier? So take example, guys. This is like a non-distributedness system. So for example, you have a custom reports and programs. Okay, you can use your old tables and index tables for redirect, and this is stand for your this is stand for your CDS view. Okay, so for example, like earlier in old tables we can use FAGL FAXT. This is now the new name in S4HANA FGLV underscore FAGL FLXT. So that stands for your CDS view. Okay, but in overall you can say only read the data in AC Docker table. Okay, so in AC Docker table you can read, edit or view, but in this CDS view only you can just view the data basically. Okay, now guys, anyone have idea about the classic GL or new GL? Any one of you? Do you know that functionality, the new GL concept?
Basically, it talks about the splitting functionality, like whatever character you select, based on that, the document will split and the character will get populated in the rest of the line item, for example, customer or vendor or tax line item.
Okay.
Parallel accounting.
Okay. So I just give one example to you guys. Okay. So take example, as you all working on ECC, right? Might be some of you working on the new GL concept, or some of you working on the classic GL as of now, right? always remember, guys, whenever you work on SAP ECC to S4HANA migration projects, okay, whenever you work on implementation projects, fresh implementation, then I think by default you are in new GL, because S4HANA is like by default on new GL technically. Technically, you are by default new GL, okay? New GL, but I think you have to activate the document building functionality. That is the configuration part. But by default, you are on technically a new GL, okay, in S4HANA, because old GL is not work in S4HANA, okay? So whenever you work on, but in other case, you are right now using SAP ECC environment and you want to migrate to SAP S4HANA, okay? But in ECC system, for example, you are using classic GL accounting, okay? Sorry, classic general ledger accounting, okay? But now here is you have to take like two approach, okay? One approach is basically if you're using right now classic, okay, then before you migrate to S4HANA, you have to first migrate your new GL migration within ECC environment. Then once your system is like new GL, then you can migrate to S4HANA, okay? The other approach is basically right now using SAP ECC classic general ledger accounting, you can directly move to S4HANA, okay? Because S4HANA is by default on new GL. But the only difference on this directly move here, okay, if business doesn't want documents building functionality or parallel accounting, then I think no further step we required here, okay, because S4HANA by default on new GL. But after migration from classic GL accounting to directly S4HANA migration, okay, if business want documents building and parallel accounting, then after this we can do other project that stand for subsequent implementation of documents building. So instead of waiting of this, like because new GL, you can always know that new GL we always implement in the beginning of the financial year, okay? So I don't want to wait till first 1 year, then I think I want to migrate to S4HANA. No, okay. The other approach, the recommended approach we can suggest to customer, if you are using ECC environment and classic GL accounting, you can directly move to SAP S4HANA, okay? But now because S4HANA by default you are on new GL, the only difference here basically, if you want documents building parallel, then you have to implement other module that stand for subsequent implementation of documents building. But if business is not want that functionality, then we are good in here itself, okay? So these two scenario in common picture when you talk about, guys, classic to new GL migration concept, ECC to S4HANA, okay? So if you see here, in this particular, the first approach is basically we can go with new GL, then S4HANA, or then we can directly go to S4HANA. So with the new GL, we can say we have to implement first documents building and segment reporting, or we can say, the new GL tables we can activate. The only cons of this particular functionality, you can say longer time for S4HANA, because it takes longer time, because new GL we can only implement in the beginning of the financial year, okay? And new GL migration start date is equal to fiscal year. But then the second step is basically once we are on new GL already in ECC environment, then we can move to S4HANA, okay? So, but as a SAP consultant, we can recommend now to customer, you can directly move to S4HANA, okay? Either, and because then I think you are by default technically new GL. Then if you want that other functionality, then I think you can implement subsequent implementation of documents building functionality. Okay, so these two approaches, guys, always remember when you discuss with your customer. This is only in case of migration project, but in terms of S4HANA implementation project, guys, this is not relevant, because by default we are new GL. Now we can only do the configuration, but during S4HANA migration we can follow this path. Clear? Any question, guys? Are we good here? Hello?
Yeah, Rohit. See, basically, I mean, directly you can go to S4HANA, right? But why there is a two steps kind of this thing is available right now? See, for example, directly if you go also, the new GL concept is automatically activated, right? But
the only difference basically, the directly GL, you are not get the benefit of documents building during migration, okay, and parallel accounting during migration. For that you have to separate project thereafter.
So okay. How about document splitting, etc.? When that one will be activated?
So for example, I repeat again. For example, there's one customer who are right now using SAP ECC environment, okay, and they are right now using classic GL accounting. But during S4HANA migration, they don't want to document splitting and parallel accounting functionality. So for that, we can say that you can directly move to S4HANA immediately, because by default you are on new GL in S4HANA, okay, and thereafter we do GL accounting, okay. And so there are two options for that, and along with document splitting and parallel accounting, okay. So they want document splitting and parallel accounting in S4HANA also. So we can recommend two options. Either you can implement as first new GL within ECC system, then go to S4HANA migration, or you can directly go to S4HANA migration without document splitting and parallel accounting. And once we done the migration, then in SAP S4HANA, the new functionality from 1709 onwards, that stand for subsequent implementation of document splitting. Okay, that subsequent implementation of document splitting is like separate project. It is also 3 to 4 months projects. Okay, so you can do thereafter. But I think if you see here, it is like the benefit of that, we can save time here, because if I go first option, it's like 2 years journey. But when we go this option, within a year I can do that both projects. Got a point?
Got my point. Got your point.
So that's why recommendation option is basically S4HANA. Okay, migration directly. Now it's all depend on business. Either they are looking for document splitting, parallel accounting. If they are looking, then we can implement the next step, subsequent implementation. If they are not looking that option, then I think we are good here itself.
And sometimes used to, customer requirements used to modify sometimes after discussing with multiple places, right? So, for example, directly we went into S4HANA and we implemented from classic to S4HANA. Right. After that, and customer realize, and if they require, if they have that document splitting concept or parallel ledger concept kind of thing, it would be more beneficial for their business growth scenario.
We can do that. We can do the subsequent implementation project then thereafter. We can do that.
Okay.
Subsequent implementation, subsequent implementation, you can do any period end. Okay, not required to year and wait. Okay, so that activity you can do any period end implementation, that activity. So you can do that. So for example, like this year, October, I went live, okay, for migration. Then after 6 months, customer realized, they also want to that document splitting functionality. So that is separate project. That stands for subsequent implementation of document splitting. But before we can start that project, there's a prerequisite, because some of the data is already stored in my tables, right? So we have to take care in what are the prerequisites we have to SAP notes we can implement. Then we can go with that approach, the subsequent implementation of document splitting. Okay, fine. All possible options there, right? It's all depend on business to business. But why I'm explaining you this, because S4HANA by default on new GL, okay, but as you all are working on ECC right now, right? So you should be aware about this concept, okay? Because this is the initial steps. You should be remember during your discussion, your design phase with business. Got a point?
And Rohit, regarding this direct implementation, in classic GL, we have like month-end program to be executed to transfer the data for the AR and AP line item. So similar process we'll have to follow here in HANA as well?
No. Reconciliation is like single source of truth, okay? In ECC, we have a FICO, two different things. In S4HANA, it's like one common FTM. There's no FI separate, there's no SEO separate. We have one single FTM. Okay. So for example, in ECC, what we do, we can create a GL accounts and cost elements, right? We do. But in S4HANA, no separate transaction code is required. Within FS00, you have functionality to activate to align your cost element category also. No need to maintain the cost element. Okay, separately with separate transaction codes. So the technology is changed in S4HANA for that GL functionality. Okay.
I think you are talking more talking about the master data. My question was towards the month-end program which we.
I'm talking about the month-end only. Month-end programs also replaced with some Fiori apps in S4HANA. Okay. Your month-end activity, your some of the month-end programs is now replaced with S4HANA with some of the new T codes. So for example, in ECC, we are using F.19 something for that for GL balance carry forward, right? Okay. But now in SAP S4HANA, we have a new transition code. for this month and activity. In ECC system, you're using like a AJAB or AJRW. So AJRW is now not required in S4HANA, because in S4HANA we have a technically clearing account. This automation and activity for reconciliation between asset and GL. So that all we can discuss during our ongoing sessions.
Okay, so we'll be covering that in.
Yeah. So we can discuss all that points. So each topic wise we can discuss. So today's like first session, I can just highlight you some introduction first as per HANA, as for HANA perspective, some base concept, right? Okay. And why I'm coming jump to this GL here, because you all are working ECC. In S4HANA by default is a new GL functionality, so I should able to understand, like explain you the process of this functionality. Clear? Are we good, guys, here?
Yeah, thanks, Rohit.
Okay. Yeah, right. So sorry, any question, guys? I'm sorry, my miss. Somebody say something? Okay, no problem. So guys, in universal journal, when I say, in AC Docker table here, right? This is AC Docker table, right? This stands for. Okay. In this table also, you can see here, okay, we can also get now coding block. Okay, we have a, coding block, guys. Anyone idea? Coding block, what is coding block? Might be you work in ECC environment in coding blocks also, right? Okay. So in SAP ECC, SAP S4HANA in AC Docker table, we can also find in the same table that particular fields here. Okay. So if you have some custom COPA tables you want, so I think we have some custom fields also available for COPA functionality. Okay. So the universal journal can be extended with customer fields, extensibilities from components that are universal journal, GL, CO, EA, or ML. So I explained you earlier. In ACC, in S4HANA, we have one single table, AC Docker, where all my line items from the corresponding submodules is hit in one single table. Okay. Earlier in ECC, we have separate tables. Okay. So during my custom development programs also, we can go with the separate tables during my function specifications. Okay. But now in S4HANA, we can use only one single table that stands for AC Docker. Okay. Clear? So this fields is also available in SAP S4HANA AC Docker table for COPA and coding block functionality. Right? Here you see this, guys. What happened earlier? This is my accounting phase. Okay. So earlier, you can say that this is my MM, SD, HR, AA, ML. This all like accounting interface. This all interface is now hit in AC Docker table. So these are the tables is still in SAP S4HANA. Okay. Okay. So you can say that accounting interface instead of external posting. So external posting, we can say my data would be stored on AC Docker table. Basic table is still remains same. Proficient accounting table is also remains same here. Okay. Special ledger we can use in S4HANA also. So these are the external posting within S4HANA you can do with accounting interface. Okay. Any question, guys, till now?
Are we good? That costing based COPA tables. I mean, we'll have the data as well in the IC Docker table, but we'll have this the like CE1 tables. You mean, right?
CE1 table only for view only, right? You can
okay.
So when like BSEG. Yeah, no, not BSEG. BSEG is still there. CEP table also you can able to see in S4HANA, but only view. Okay, CDS view. Okay, but actually line item you can able to see in the AC Docker table. Okay.
So
during your migration, all your existing tables is now obsolete, or you can say replaced with the CDS view. Okay, the index and table and then that tables. Okay, but you can only view the tables in S4HANA. You cannot read or you cannot edit that. So for example, you migrate your SAP ECC to S4HANA, and thereafter after 1 month you are planning to create one custom reports, or you want to change in the existing custom report. You want to add some 2 additional fields on that custom report. And for that particular purpose, you can use the AC Docker table instead of your BSEC or BSIG table. Got a point? So for example, accounts payable open items 1 report, custom reports. In ECC, that report was developed, and during migration, that report are migrated to S4HANA. Now in S4HANA, once my project is implemented, thereafter your customer, your business, said, I want to add 2 additional fields in this customer reports. Okay, for some more information. In that sense, you are not going with that your BSIK or BSAK table. You will go with the AC Docker table, because in S4HANA you can read, write or view only AC Docker table for new developments, not like other tables. Got a point?
My existing programs will, that logic of the existing program contains some basically
that remains same.
Same. Only addition of the changes. It will replace it.
Any new changes if you want to implement S4HANA after migration, then you can only use the table AC Docker table. All your previous data, previous code is still on that table. But going forward, that if any changes is required, that's stored in the AC Docker table. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Clear?
And Rohit, actually, in the ECC for the COPA, in some point in time we have a T code available to change the characteristics like which was used earlier in the database table itself. So, is there a similar functionality available in HANA as well?
So one more thing, guys, I just want to highlight you. When you implement S4HANA, SAP recommend you can go with account-based COPA instead of costing-based COPA. Okay, SAP recommend we can implement account-based COPA instead of costing-based COPA. Costing-based COPA still in S4HANA, but you can get but the benefit of costing-based COPA in S4HANA very limited. Okay, in terms of you can say that Fiori apps. So when we use account-based COPA in S4HANA, because why SAP recommend account-based COPA? Because now we have one single table, AC Docker. Okay, now you can easily get account-based COPA with the GL level. Okay, but the only but I'm not saying costing-based COPA is not working in S4HANA. We can use still as costing-based COPA in S4HANA also, but very limited functionality. Okay, we cannot get the benefit of SAP Fiori apps. Okay, when we use costing-based COPA, standard Fiori apps, you can develop custom Fiori apps for costing-based COPA, but no standard Fiori apps. So SAP recommend you can go with account-based COPA. Now coming to your question also, right? When we migrate to S4HANA from ECC to costing-based COPA, okay, then your functionalities remain that costing-based COPA is same in terms of edit for view data, but you cannot edit that because there are some additional custom fields are available in the AC Docker table by default. You can use that fields in AC Docker table. Got a point?
Yeah, and will we be able to change them subsequently, like the way we are changing
because not change, because you can change that in the AC Docker table. You can change that, but not your existing tables. Yeah, because in AC Docker table, 2 additional fields. I explain you. I think let me again show you, right?
No, I got it.
That's fine. I'm just trying
the question was whether we will be able to change or not. You answer
if you see here, this one. This is custom. This is custom fields are available for this type of information. You can edit and you can also use these custom fields for edit purpose. Okay. Okay. So
yeah.
Okay. Ram, go ahead. Ram, go ahead.
Transactional data, we got there is only one table will be there, so that is AC.K. How about master data and configuration data?
So I just come here. Okay, let me explain you. Okay, so when we say customer, okay, for customer, what we normally use, like in terms of finance, we can say FK01, FK02, right? Vendor, my bad, sorry. Just taking an example, okay? And you can say, this is my transaction code. I will also come to table also, but let understand first this concept, okay? Or 03, or you can say 04. I'm just taking this example. Then customer, okay? You can say that, FD01, right? Or you can say that FD02, okay? Or you can say that FD03 or FD04. Now, guys, this all transaction code is not relevant in S4HANA. Okay, because this customer vendor is now like replaced with the BP. You can say business partner. So one T code for all these pieces. Through BP transition code, you can create a vendor, you can create a customer, you can also change view and look also in through this one single transition code. That's not for BP. Okay, so all your this all transition code is not relevant in S4HANA. What a point. In S4HANA, we have one single transition code that stands for BP, business partner. Now, in terms of table point of view, okay, LF A1 and A1 still in SAP. So no serious view, this still remains same. But LF B1, right? You can say LF B1 and KN B1. This is like you can say serious view in S4HANA, okay? Because this table is now replaced with this information you can able to see in the AC Docker table, okay? And this table is no more in S4HANA. This is only serious view. But LFA1 and KN1 still remain same because the customer basic information, right? Okay, because business partner also have that address information. So this table is remain same, but this table is not more in S4HANA on the master data perspective on vendor and customer, right? But in terms of GL point of view, the same, all the tables remain same. SKB1, SK1, this still remains same in S4HANA on the master data point of view. Is a clear answer? Is a provide your answer?
Rohit, AC Docker is basically for transaction data related, right?
Yes, yeah. AC Docker for all your sub ledger, for like asset accounting, bank accounting, accounts payable, receivables, COPA, material ledger, integration with MMSD, all line items data you can store in AC Docker table. Okay, but BKPF. Yeah, go ahead.
My question is actually about LFB1 and KNB1 is company code specific customers and vendors like the business partners here in S4HANA, right? So how can this replace with AC Docker? I mean, AC Docker is basically
this is master data. No. This is not master. This is master data. Yes. This is master data. This is line item. Line item. Yes. You can say that I will repeat again. BSIS. Take example. Okay. AS, okay, you can say that BSIK or BSAK, okay, BSID, or you can say BSAD. These all tables are replaced with AC Docker table. This table in S4HANA as a serious view, okay, but in S4HANA we have one single table AC Docker. Okay, so all your open and clear items, we have earlier used two tables, but in S4HANA we have one single table for open and clear items, both everything, line items. Okay, for header information, BKPF is still remains same. Okay, and BSEC is still remains same as a cluster table. So there is no change on this table, but yes, all of the line items table are now replaced with AC Docker table in S4HANA.
So what is the meaning of serious S4HANA for LFB1 and KNB1?
Serious is like compatibility view, right? You can only view so no, this is serious view is basically for this one, right? This one, not like this one. Sorry, my bad. Here, this one, serious view, right? LFB1 and KNB1 still in S4HANA because what happened, guys? In S4HANA, you can create a business partner as a front end, okay? In the back end, your customer vendor is created. Got a point? So in S4HANA, we have to do the business partner configuration, okay? But when we do the business partner in the backend, we can also define as a customer as a vendor, okay? So as a backend, if you define a customer vendor, then I think that this two table remains same. There's a no serious view. This table is remains same as S4HANA. We can use that for company code information, master data for customer and vendor. Okay, BP is one, but I think if you want the customer vendor information, okay, then I think you can also see that on the company code level in these two tables, master data.
So all the master data tables like LFA1, KNB1, LFB1, KNB1, all the vendor and customer master tables remains same.
This is not, see, this, sorry, my bad. Wait a minute.
No, they are available, but
let me again.
They are available. Simply.
Let me again repeat. Okay. LFA1 and KN1 still remain same as in SAP S4HANA as ECC. LFB1 and KNB1 is moved to compatibility view. This table are in S4HANA, but only for view, not for any edit and not for any write purpose. We can only view these tables. Okay, but this LFA1 and KN1 remain as the original table in S4HANA for master data for customer and vendor. Now clear?
So if you have any custom program like transactional data, I mean, where we have to fetch some data from the LFB1 or KNB1 tables, I mean, addition of new fields.
Whatever the programs you develop in ECC system, the same programs you can able to see in S4HANA migration with the same tables. Okay. But if you want to implement some new functionality on that particular program going forward, then you can use for the BP tables instead of this LFA1 or KNA1. You can use the BP tables for the master data perspective and also AC Doka for the line item perspective. For any custom new enhancement in the S4HANA for custom programs. Clear?
Yeah, got it. Like AC Doka for the master data table, we use
AC Doka for only for line items.
Yeah, okay? Got it.
Only for line items, and this is for master data. You can use that. Clear, guys?
Okay, so you asset also asset account table, master data.
Master data for asset information you can store in the BKPF table now, guys. So for like asset number, right? That header information of asset you can able to see in the BKPF table. Okay, but all your ANLA, ANLC, that all tables is now moved to the new table in S4HANA. Okay, line items is you can able to see the AC Doka table, but the master data for asset accounting that you can store in the BKPF table. Okay, so all asset accounting header information, master data you can able to see in the BKPF table. Or one more table we can say FAGL underscore ANLC, ANLA or ANLB. This table you can use for for that information. But asset accounting line item you can able to see in the AC Doka table.
So Rohit, BKPF is generally for the document header line item in ECC.
Document header.
Asset, yeah, for document headers. Yes. Now you're saying the asset master data will be merged in BKPF. So that asset transaction and transaction master data tables are merged.
No. Transaction asset master. When I say asset master data only information stored in the BKPF, right? BKPF is only for asset number. Okay, asset number you can say that, or asset creation data you can store in the BKPF table, right? Asset master data. But for line item you can only able to see the AC Doka table. What a point.
In ANLA, ANLC, ANLB, we use
that table.
Asset master data.
ANLA, ANLB is now moved to FAGL. So for example, there are two tables, FAGL underscore ANLA. Okay. So this is stand for your CDS view in S4HANA. Okay. Got a point? Okay. But in the backend, this information is stored in the BKPF table now. The header information for asset accounting. For asset master data header information, you can able to store in the BKPF table. And line item still in the AC Doka table. So earlier you use ANLA, ANLC, this table is not more in S4HANA. Got it? Reason for that, because earlier what happened, we have to do the reconciliation between my sub ledger to main ledger, asset accounting to main ledger, right? Asset accounting, we can say figure asset register, then every month and we have to reconcile my sub ledger with my main ledger, GL account, okay? The balance. Now this is not required because in S4HANA, technical clearing account is coming in picture. Technical clearing account is nothing you can say is like is equal to your GRIR account. The technical clearing balance should be 0 at month end or year end. If the balance is not 0, it means there's some difference in your reconciliation. But it is like always 0 because it is automatically reconcile your data with asset accounting to GL accounting. So that's why no need to separate table for asset master data. So that is replacing now BKPF table for asset master. Got your point? Sorry. Is this clear my point, guys?
Yes.
Perfect.
And Rohit, regarding the master data which you were mentioning, so do we also need to refer to the business partner table, the BUT 000 table?
Yeah, we can use that. See, business partner, we always remember, guys, business partner we can create based on the group level. So for example, I have a domestic vendors, I have a import vendors, one-time vendors. So for that in SAP S4HANA, we can create a groups and authorizations. Okay. So authorizations level and group level we can maintain for business partner in S4HANA. Based on that, we can define that business partner as a customer, as a vendor also. Might be same vendor, might be customer also, right? This scenario also come in picture. There's a one vendor, same is my customer also. So for that, how we can create a business partner? We can also learn that functionality going forward sessions. Okay, because same customer might be my vendor also. Same customer I can purchase, I can sell also. So how we can use that in terms of in terms of table level or in terms of transition level, so that we can also discuss in our going forward session when I explain you about in detail about business partner functionality. Clear? Are we good, guys?
Yes, Rohit.
Perfect. So next to
configuration data table, for example, T001.
That remains same. That remains same.
So you will get configuration data from
configuration. Yeah, configuration is remains same. That the T001, T002, that is remains same. That's not change. The only change I think I had already show you, right? I think if you see here, right, where I can explain you this way, right? Yeah. So this table,
mic
right?
is coming. Can you please, guys, who are talking, mute yourself.
So now here if you see there, guys, okay. So these are the tables only we can say obsolete, or you can say replace with CDS view. Okay, got a point? So if you see here this one, ANLC, ANE1, ANP, these all tables are now removed. Okay, this removed. When I say removed, it means compatibility view. Okay, compatibility view with the new tables. Only you can only able to see view only, but actually your data would be stored in the AC docker table. Any further question, guys, still in these sessions? Are we good as of now?
Yes, Rohit.
Always, guys, see my point. I repeat again to you. First, understand the concept here. If your concept is clear, guys, okay, what I'm trying to say, then I think you are like no one can like stop you, okay, because this concept you have to explain to customer, okay, during your S4HANA implementation projects or migration projects. Customer ask you, okay. So configuration is not a big thing. I repeat again, configuration we can do that, right? And we can definitely do from next week onwards we can start SAP configuration system also. But understand the first of all the concept about the S4HANA functionality here. Okay, perfect. Now come to the other point here. Okay. So in this document, guys, I think you can see this all these configuration steps. We can go with this all configuration steps in the SAP system, but you can able to see this document in the LMS tool. Okay, what are the required configuration for each particular functionality you can able to see in SAP S4HANA. Okay, but now most important thing I just want to explain you here. The other important activity here, you can say that multi-currency in universal general ledger, guys. What is actually the purpose of this multi-currency? Okay, so I just show you one example here. In SAP ECC, we can normally use like 2 to 3 currencies, right? Okay, but in S4HANA, we can say SAP S4HANA provide you total 10 currency. So 2 currencies basically you can say local currency or company currency or controlling area currency, global currency. But if you want to see the report on the other currencies, then I think you can also configure that till 8 currencies. So we have other 8 currencies functionality we have in S4HANA. Okay, so you can get a report like not for 3 currency level, but you can also develop your report on the other currencies in standard reports. Okay, so this functionality is also available in S4HANA. So in S4HANA, you can create the data for 10 currency level. Okay, earlier we can say only company code currency, document currency, right, and local currency. But now we can say, so for example, my company code currency or local currency in like INR, or you can say USD, right? But I also want the report on some other currencies for point of view. So you can develop that currency level reports also in this configuration. So in normal way, we can say that in S4HANA, we can develop like 10 currency and the functionalities available. We can do that. Okay, so this is stand for your multi-currency valuation here. Multi-currency you can use in Universal Journal, and all these fields are available in the AC Docker table. Okay, so you can use that. Clear point? Okay, so this is the benefit about SAP S4HANA. If you want, because earlier what happened, we can create like some custom development programs, or we can use some like special purpose ledger or other things earlier. But now in S4HANA, you have a till 10 currency functionalities available. We can use that. Okay. One thing, guys, I just want to highlight. I think I missed that regarding that COPA perspective, right? So what happened, guys, in ECC? In ECC, normal when we do the like PGI, post good issue. What is my accounting entry that time, guys? COGS, we can say COGS. Okay. Debit. Okay, to inventory. Okay, and take example. You can say that 1,000 and 1,000. Right, guys? This has happened. But now in S4HANA, guys, okay, and ECC also, we cannot able to see my cost as GL level. We can only able to see my cost or like for example, in this 1,000 COGS. Okay, this 1,000 is my labor cost, my material cost, my overhead cost also. But in ECC, we are not able to see it at GL level. For that, we can use a costing sheet, right? And we can use that on that costing sheet, that report, okay, for the component wise. But in S4HANA, guys, we have a cost split functionality available. Okay, so reason for that is cost split functionality. Okay, so for example, I have a material cost. Take example, 100. Okay, and labor we can say 100, and overdraft, you can say, and overdraft is coming everything, right? Okay, like 100. Okay, so now this is my COGS. So earlier what happened in ECC, this all 300 I can put on one single GL account. But in S4HANA, we have a functionality for the GLY split. So you can create like material GL account, okay, debit, okay, or you can say COGS material GL account. You can say that COGS material 100, then COGS label you can say 100. Okay, or you can or overdraft also you can say 100, right? Take example. Okay, and you can say inventory credit 300. So in S4HANA, you can able to see the functionality that stand for cost split functionality, guys. Okay, so you can able to see the GL wise also data at the time of PGI. This is an optional activity. This is optional functionalities available in S4HANA. It's all depend on business to business. Either they want to implement this functionality or not. Okay, but this is a benefit in S4HANA. You can use that. So earlier, my all cost in one single GL account, and I'm not able to identify this 1,000 against which material, labor, overdraft. I can only able to see in my costing sheet. But now in S4HANA, you can able at the GL level itself. What a point! So this is a functionality for cost split or price difference in both way. Okay. So both functionality, in both way you can use this functionality. Clear, guys? Because reason why I'm explaining this concept here, because this is also important during your implementation as S4HANA migration, during the initial phase of discussion with the business. Clear?
So similarly, COGM breakup also will be right.
Yeah, this is COGM also you can do that. Yeah, you can do that.
This is COGS. COGM.
Yeah, COGM also you can do that, right? That functionality is also there. But this is like an optional configuration. This is not like mandatory configuration. It's all depend on business. Either they are looking this functionality, then we can do that. If they are not looking, if they are okay with this same, then I think we can go ahead with the same option. This all depend on business. But as a consultant, we should be know that how we can implement this functionality. Clear? Okay. Okay. Now back to that point here. I repeat again here. So any question, guys, till now, first of all? Or I think we can discuss now 5 minutes for some questions, right? I think we have already covered many 2.5 hours past. Okay, so we can discuss like 5-10 minutes some questions or some clarification. So then I think we are good for today's first session. I know it's first session, so I don't want like more stress to you guys. So but any further clarification you require, guys, just let me know. So in summarized way, I repeat again what we discussed today. Okay, we had discussed about what is actually SAP HANA. Okay, we have discussed about the difference between SAP HANA and S4HANA. Okay, we have discussed about the methodology in terms of S4HANA. We can say activate methodology. We have discussed the different types of projects we have: implementation, support, rollout and upgrade, and migration and conversion. We had discussed in detail about the approach. We have a brownfield approach, we have a greenfield approach, we have a bluefield approach, how it works, and how it works for customer perspective. Okay, we had discussed about the modules, the changes of modules in terms of ECC and S4HANA, how that reflect in terms of ECC to S4HANA. Okay, we have discussed about where we can use the SOH, Suite on HANA and S4HANA functionality. Okay, we had discussed about the other thing about the table level, the transition tables and master data tables. What is change? What is no change in S4HANA? And in S4HANA, we can say one single platform table for line item ECDOPA. Okay, we have discussed about the deployable option of on-premise, on cloud, on hybrid. Okay, like on-premise, we can say every year we can release, and on cloud, we can say every quarter we released. Okay, and we have it in a SAP hybrid model. Okay, we have also discussed about that some of the transition codes is not relevant in S4HANA in terms of master data. So for example, vendor and customer, because it is replaced as a business partner in S4HANA. Okay, we had discussed about the COGS cost split functionality. Okay, these are functionalities available in S4HANA. Earlier it was not part of ECC. We have also discussed about the classic GL and new GL concept in terms of how my approach would be in terms of when we use SAP ECC system. Okay, how that works in terms of that. We have also discussed about our S4HANA S4HANA only implement on HANA database. Okay, and my database is stored in S4HANA on in memory, not on hard disk. Okay, so that we should be remember here. Our data would be stored on that level, because and the benefit is basically here the faster storage and low latency, we can use that. Okay, so this all functionality we discussed in terms of with your questions, right? But other one more thing I just forget to tell you here. Okay, so we have SAP HANA based on offering here, guys. When we say SAP HANA Live is like we can normally use on BW system. Okay, so BW consultant can use the SAP HANA Live for reporting perspective. SAP HANA Accelerator, so because we have some accelerators, inbuilt accelerator in S4 HANA. So for example, like migration cockpit, right? So there is like and some inbuilt embedded analytical apps, Fiori apps. So that all also part of S4 HANA. Okay, and we have also high performance application platform which we normally use for the success factor perspective. So these are some of the S4 HANA based offering also available. Okay, but in terms of accelerator, you can say that we have a profitability account scope on UGL, Special ledger, in ECC we can say special ledger, guys, but in S4HANA we can say extension ledger. Okay, so for example, if you're using your company in US leading and non-leading ledger, so non-leading ledger you can say as a extension ledger. Okay, for reporting perspective, we can discuss in detail level. Proficient accounting, segment reporting, product costing, material ledger. This we can also cover during our training sessions. All core finance like AP, AR, GL, accounts payable, accounts receivables. Along with that, we can also cover the material ledger, product costing, COPA during our ongoing sessions in detail level. So this all part of S4HANA accelerators programs. Okay, clear? And we have also discussed about some of that migration concept in terms of EC to S4HANA migration. Okay, the major part of brownfield, bluefield, and greenfield approach. Okay, so this is a good discussion. I hope today we had, guys. Any other question? Just let me know so we can spend 5 minutes on the question and queries. Right?
Rohit, are we also covering central finance?
Center finance only just for one session as an overview, because center finance is separate training, right? In this session, I can only cover as an overview. I can provide some overview sessions, okay, about center finance, but center finance training is not a part of this training. Center finance is like separate trainings. But in this training, I can cover as an overview. I can explain you what exactly center finance, what exactly the purpose of center finance, how it works, SLT and AIF in the overview perspective. I can show you.
Okay, thanks.
Because center finance is totally different training, guys. Okay. So, guys, how you feel today? I think hope you have get some good knowledge today. Can anybody tell me?
Yes, Rohit, it's very good session.
And I repeat again, guys, if my concept is clear, okay, then I think configuration is not a big thing. Because whenever you work on S4HANA projects, either you are new implementation or migration, our pre-checks, prerequisites, concept should be clear. Okay. And I'm trying my best with the detailed examples on the very, very simple language I'm trying to explain you. So I know you are all work on mainly on ECC. I know you have some idea about S4HANA, but not on that as a hands-on experience, right? So we can also go forward at a hands-on system also, right? So because next week onwards we can start SAP system. I don't want to this only for theoretical training, guys. I want more in practical training. Okay, but theoretical also required as in the initial 2 or 3 days, because the concept should be clear. Then we can go with that in the detail level in the system also. But I need your support, because whatever I'm trying to explain, I want next day when you come, you can come with some questions and you can ask me. We can spend 5-10 minutes on the questions. Then we can start the new sessions accordingly. Okay, and tomorrow I will ask you. Anyone can explain me the complete thing which we discussed today. I will ask you questions from tomorrow, and you can answer me accordingly. I will ask you randomly. I can ask randomly some question to any one of you. Okay, and I think you can provide me the answer accordingly. And don't feel, guys, it's like if you not know about answer, that's not a deal. Okay, if you have if you have forgot that answer, but try to give answer to me accordingly. Okay, so that's it's like a more interactive sessions. And going forward, guys, please ask multiple questions. Today I'm very happy because you asked multiple questions, so that's a good thing, because that is important to discussion, one-to-one, to connect with the integration in like interactive sessions, both of them. Okay, so guys, I think we are good as of now today. Only 10-15 minutes left, but I think I know we are first day, so I think from tomorrow we can definitely complete daily level. But it was like we already covered 2.45 hours, so we are good as of now. Any last thoughts, guys? Anyone, your question? Just let me know.
Yeah. Hey, Rohit. This is Sunita.
Yes, Sunita.
On the system access on S4HANA, so I know Syed mentioned earlier that you guys will share us a link.
So ZaranTech support team can help you, okay? And I think I will talk with Richard, and he will provide you. Okay, so he can provide you that today, Sunita.
Yeah, anybody that is waiting for access for LMS or server credentials, please stay back on this call. after the session ends, I can help you.
Okay, that's good. Thanks, Richard.
I think
that's a
we
good
have
idea.
server credential, the email what we get, right?
Correct. Yes, that's the one.
I can talk about myself. Yeah. So it's there. It's more about downloading. I know Karthik also tried me too. It's asking for admin.
Okay, are you saying SAP logon?
Yeah.
You can use the web version. So there, if you open the guide, right, there is an option to use it through the web as well. You can follow that. And only for the Fiori Launchpad, you will need admin access to run the host file. So that is one request that you will have to raise. That detail is also mentioned in the guide on how to do it.
Okay. Okay. I tried that. If we are not able to do, then we can talk tomorrow before we start our training session.
So
no problem. So I think Rohit is done for now. I will quickly just show you how everything works.
Okay,
so Richard, just only 1 minute, and then I think you can continue.
Okay.
So guys, I think we are good as of now. Okay. So please, guys, go to the recording. Okay, whenever you time today. I know you have all the other work also, but try to spend 30-40 minutes, to just go over the recordings and some questions. Okay, and also the material within the LMS also. So tomorrow, just come with some questions and fresh mind, some clarification, so we can go ahead accordingly. Okay. But thank you so much, guys, for today's session. And I hope I am trying my best to explain you. Okay. But going forward, definitely we can more in deep also. So stay with me. And this is like today from our start our journey here. And we can reach in the final goal soon. Thank you so much, guys, for your time and support today. Appreciate your time in the morning. So thank you so much from my end. Any last thoughts, guys? Anyone? Or I can drop?
No, thanks, Rohit.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. So Richard.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.